Now, once again, in that first video, I was talking about basically what makes you black, what doesn't make you black. And in the second video, I sort of said the same things, just elaborated on. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. It's just that this is all impromptu, so this is back to back videos. I'm just speaking my mind right now. And so now what am I going to talk about? Oh yeah, so now the question is, we were talking about existence, and if the black race itself is existent, is becoming extinct. And I would say, like I said in the second video, yes. But now the question is, what can we do to fight back? What can we do to make a comeback? Because that's what we're all about. Like I said, we're a resilient race. We always find a way out of no way to come back. So, if my recommendation, in order to get back to where we were, or our peak, which was probably in the 60s, where we were most headstrong, would be to go back. You have to go back and you have to dig and find bits and pieces of our history and heritage and stuff like that you can't just get openly. You have to go look for that type of stuff. You have to better go to your grandma, your great grandma, your granddad if you got them. Go to anybody. If you don't have anybody, then you have to look it up. You got the World Wide Web. That's the biggest this is information era. That's the biggest thing of information I know exists today. Millions and millions of things. And what you want to look up is basically, you can start off by looking up people who have been of great significance in African American or black history, and who have contributed to the black heritage. And I'm not talking about Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or what's this guy's name? Reverend Al Sharpton. I'm not talking about all those, because everybody knows who they are. I'm talking about people like writers like Alex Haley or Langston Hughes or Richard Wright or Garrett Morgan, dude who invented the stoplight and the gas mask, or Charles Drew or Frederick Douglass. You have all of these different people, African Americans or blacks, who contributed to making us who we are today. Those are the people you need to find, and you need to take certain aspects from all of those and then apply them to yourself. Then once you apply them to yourself, then you'll be able to go out and set an example of what a black man really is, or represent what a black man or woman really is. Because until you go back and you know exactly what being a black man or woman entails, you won't know how to represent it. And as you can see, it's been misrepresented for a good 10 to 20 years now, and somewhere we fell as a race. I don't know where. I can give you some ideas, but those are just ideas. I don't think it was one specific thing. I think it was many things that led up to it. I can just give you some examples right now. You always have the crack epidemic. You have the FBI's things that talk about the FBI flooding dope into our societies. You have what W.E.B. Du Bois called the top 10% of African Americans basically go and then reach back down and pull others up with them. You can say part of the reason why we're in the state that we're in is because when the top 10 gets to where they need to be, they move away from the society. And that's why you have all of these young black men and women who don't look up to lawyers and doctors and businessmen. It's because they don't live around them, you know, because all of the black doctors and lawyers and such live out in the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? So they don't have anybody to look up to. The only person they have to look up to is the random ignorant dude who doesn't know any better on the 26-inch rims rolling around every day. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you can blame part of that on the top 10. You can there's a lot of blame to go around. You blame yourself for the most. I mean, you can blame yourself. I would blame myself for the most part if I didn't know, because of the predicament that I am in today and how I live my life. It would be hard for me not to know personally what a black man or woman is, but for the people who don't know any better, it's nowhere near your fault, you know. Most of us were brought up in a society to where nobody knows who they were, nobody knows any better, and it's all about survival, you know. That's what it's become all about in these hoods, you know what I'm saying? If you're from the hood, or that's what it's become all about. Because, you know, I come from Detroit, Michigan, so I know. I lived on 7 Mile, Wyoming, you feel me? I know what it's like, and I feel your pain. And all you know is what you see on TV, what the mass media gives you, because your parents aren't there, or you're being raised by your grandma who's old and who's sort of incoherent, who doesn't understand, who can't relate to you, you know. And it's because two totally different generations. Your grandma was on the come up in the 60s. You're already here at the lower level, so you probably wouldn't be able to understand. There's a big gap between you and your grandma, you know. So, like I said, the only way I can think of blacks right now finding themselves is to look within themselves, look within these older generations. You've got a grandma or a granddad that's not messed up in the head, you better go holler at them, you know. If you read books, you can read books by black authors. Just try to invest more of your time in finding out who you are. And if all you have to do in doing that is look around the black community, look around of the successful black community, you know. You have all of these authors, black authors like Hill Harper and every Tyler Perry, all of these different people who try to give back, you know, who try to reach out a helping hand. It's just that we're not headstrong. We don't know any better. We don't know to go after these people, because we see what's on TV. We see gangs and drugs in our society and all of this stuff, and we think that we become desensitized to it, you know. We don't know that that's not a good way to live anymore. It's almost like we're living back in 1800 or something, you know. And it's just like, it's almost like white society in the 1800s. Oh, don't get it twisted. They're no better than us. They had to go through a learning process as well. You know, they lived in the same predicaments as we lived in for a good while before they became what they are today, the white race or European society, whatever you want to call it. Because you have to realize that Europeans didn't always rule the world, or whatever you want to call it, or didn't always control the world. Before the Europeans, it was the Roman society. Before the Roman society, it was Egyptian, Ottoman societies. You know what I'm saying? The Ottoman Empire. You have all of these different races of people who have ruled the world at certain times. So it's not like any race is better than any other race. It's just that things change, opportunities come up, and certain people at certain times take advantage of those opportunities, you know. And it's all about your mindset. It's all about your mindset as a man, first of all, and then as a race.